Okay, so this is the podcast Go Well Live Better. And tonight we've got a very special guest, Hayden Good. He is a collegiate runner. And we're going to jump right kind of into it. All right, Hayden?
Alrighty, sounds good. Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you, my friend. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. So, the first question I have for you, bud, is take us back to when you had your injury first happen. What were like some of the symptoms, or what were some of the other doctors or other facilities telling you? And why did it feel like your running career might be over?
Well, I gotta backtrack. So I've always really been into chiropractic. My grandmother, she was a secretary for a very long time with chiropractic offices. Long story short, she had a bunch of health issues. So did the other family members I had similar health issues. So over time, she naturally went from like a medical perspective and started really seeing the benefits of a chiropractic perspective. She's very into natural medicine and supplements, et cetera, which those also help my running and my competitions. But she kind of got me in chiropractic really, really young. I didn't really fully understand it while I was younger, but I just knew I felt better afterwards. I used to have very severe headaches back in the day, which over time they've gotten a lot better as I've grown older too and stronger. But that was one of the main reasons why I started going. And with my running career, I've been really blessed with not having many injuries or anything medically wrong. The worst I think I had prior to my major injury was like shin splints. So really nothing super major. Like I said, been very blessed with it. I would say 2 summers ago, the summer of 2024, I just noticed some kind of pain in my glutes, my hips. And I usually, with running so much, I do 110 miles a week for those who are listening. So it's a lot, an intense mileage, double workouts, a lot of running, up to 18-mile long runs. So it's a lot. So I'm used to just dealing with a lot of pain or discomfort because I'm always not going to be comfortable. So I just kind of ignored it over time, and just lo and behold, after about a week, I just had a very sharp pain as I was running. And it was in one of the middle of my runs. I was not close to my house. So I just pretty much, as I was going throughout the run, I was essentially limping for a good bit until I got about a mile out, walked it back in home. And I never had this pain before. It was just really out of the blue, very just out of nowhere. So I went to several different chiropractors before I went to Dr. Gormley, or Dr. Mike, whichever we want to call you. Want to go to first name or last name basis, it doesn't matter.
That's all right. I've been called a lot.
But we started trying to do, the typical adjustments that I had done with them. And for some reason, the pain still wasn't going away. I was still in severe pain. It was even hard for me to walk. So for about a month, as time went on, I was in a very dark and deep place, not only physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Like you had just said, I thought I wasn't going to be able to run again.
Yeah.
As I started getting a little bit better, still the pain was still very hard and traumatic. So I remember just praying for like an answer, just how is this gonna fix me, or what's gonna happen? Am I done? And is this a new stage in my life? What's happening? And this was all going down as I was making the transition from, I graduated with my undergraduate degree at North Greenville University in Tigerville, with a business degree. And I was starting to switch over to gain my master's of business administration at Charleston Southern. So it was also a big shift in my life happening. And I remember my grandmother, she had recommended me as we were going a month into this, she said, go to Dr. Gormley. So I said, okay. I never had heard of Dr. Mike before, prior to working with him. But I remember we went there. I was just kind of just praying and hoping for an answer. And within, I would say about 10 or 15 minutes through an x-ray, he was able to see my issue. And it was just over time, I had some really bad sciatica, which had really twisted my hips and it screwed my back up. Um, within, long story short, within a month of just gradual just adjustments, and just going through the therapy that I had with Dr. Gormley, I was able to be at full recovery with my alignment and I would say with my running form and everything like that. And just over time after that, I was able to get my strength back, doing a lot of core and strength work as I came back to school with my trainer. And we really attacked that, trying to get my body strengthened up, because this was over the course of several years. And I never had realized up until that point that I had that issue. So really, Dr. Gormley, you just came at the perfect time, just especially when like you said, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to run again. I thought I was in a very dark, deep place, but truly, I would say you were an answered prayer at the right times. Again, that's just kind of
We're
my
happy.
story.
Well, we're happy to be part of it for you. We're happy to give you a little bit of ease and help out as much as we can.
Awesome.
So once you started chiropractic care here, what changes did you notice first? Like both in how your hip felt and how your body moved overall with your training and your races?
I think I definitely felt a lot more fluidity in my running motion. Now, granted, I knew I needed to have a good running form. I knew what the stereotypical running form looked like. You're supposed to have a natural lean, just 90-degree angles with your arms, going through your glutes for normal strength and just powering through your runs. But I never had really shifted that focus of, okay, this is like, I need to be serious about this until after I had gone through all this process with you. And with that, I think naturally, I think naturally my back was more leaning back in a sense
Hmm.
prior to those adjustments. And then naturally over time, I think naturally I started having more of that naturally leaning forward motion that most runners should have. And I felt a lot more strength in my kind of glute strash butt slash butt area, if you will.
Yeah,
So naturally, yeah, I just felt a lot stronger, a lot more fluidity, and naturally over time that just again grew on top of the strength that I was starting to gain, and lo and behold, it's made me a lot more successful and a lot more stronger as an athlete and as a competitor.
that's great. That's great. Well, I mean, something seemed to work pretty good because you went on to have the best career year of your collegiate career. You made the your mom said you made the cover of a magazine. Your
I don't know
family's
about
very,
magazine.
very proud, So let me ask you this. Um, Now, what does your weekly like recovery look like? Like what do you do weekly just to kind of prep and prepare, decompress, that sort of stuff?
So as I kind of mentioned earlier, at my max mileage, I do about 110 miles a week, and that might differentiate depending on if I have a race week, whether that be on a Friday or Saturday. But it's a lot doing 110 miles. So that's about 16 miles a day if I don't take a day off, trying to maximize the opportunities, maximize the days, if you will.
Yeah.
So usually, if we don't have a race, it's usually structured of Monday and Thursday. We do what you call a base run, which is faster than normal, but you're not killing yourself in a sense, if that makes sense. Tuesdays and Fridays are usually workout day, and then Wednesday is a recovery day, true recovery day, and then Saturday and Sunday one's a long run. You could treat it as a recovery run or a little bit faster, just depending on what your body's feeling. And our coach really preaches that we should emphasize how our body's feeling and just
Sure.
listen to that. And of course, he doesn't want us to be a wimp. He's very old school. He's very hard nosed. Like if you're hurting, I remember one time I went up to him and I was hurting in my foot for some reason. He said, "Can you still run on it?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Keep going then." And eventually it went away. So he knew something that I didn't.
Yeah.
But he's very big preacher on just if your body feels tired, don't push it. Don't push it if
Right.
you don't need to, or if it's some days you feel good and you want to go faster, go do it.
Yeah.
But with recovery, he kind of lets us do it in our own will. He's not surprisingly, he doesn't really preach about stretching though, which I would kind of disagree. I think stretching is a very big, crucial part of recovery,
Sure.
especially. I think that a lot of injury prevention can happen through that. But he has this funny saying. One time I was stretching too, and he looked at me. He said, "Man, you're stretching a lot." I said, "Well, I don't want to be injured, coach." He said, "Well, let me ask you this: when's the last time you seen a racehorse stretch?" And I just kind of paused for a second. I said, "Fair point." And he said, "You just got to be ready." I said, "True, but I don't want to get hurt." He's like, "All right,
Yeah.
you win." But I definitely believe that stretching after every single run, that's easiest, the simplest way to gain full recovery from your runs or from
Yeah.
competition. What It doesn't matter if even you're a serious competitor like me, or if you're just a casual hobby jogger, just having good stretches, maximizing that, it can definitely help you in the long run.
Sure.
I'm a big person when I'm at home. If I'm training, I'll try to do an Epsom salt bath every once in a while, just
Okay.
depending on how fatigued my legs are feeling.
Yeah.
When I'm here at school, I definitely try to do contrast baths. So if you don't know what that is, you go from hot tub to cold bath. You keep repeating that. So really, I do that after a day of a hard workout. So yesterday we did 6 by mile repeats, and then we had a mile jog in between. It did some very fast 400. So obviously my legs were very fatigued from that. And we did a fart like the day prior. If you don't know what that is, it's just pickups essentially. So we go from faster paces, slower paces. So just to kind of flush my legs out after having, lactic. I mean, my legs from just running both hard those days, just really flushing my legs out, and my legs feel a lot better, and it reduces a lot of inflammation out of your body.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I really do believe in that. I didn't have that opportunity again. at North Greenville, they just only had ice baths. So again, with Charleston, they had better facilities, so I was able to do that. Uh, but of course, not everybody's going to have those kind of facilities around. You're not going to have a ice bath and a hot tub just sitting right there. And you can probably do it as you might have a hot tub outside, and then maybe inside in your house, you might make an ice bath in your own. So you could probably do it in that kind of sense. But I really do preach that. Um,
Oh yeah.
but those are
Do you
really
do
the
any do you do like any massage therapy or like compression therapy or
I
red
do.
light or anything?
Yeah, I do some. What are they called? The hyper ice. I forgot what they're
Oh
called.
yeah, the Normatec leg station.
Normatex, that's the word.
Yep.
I do
Yeah,
use
we love
Normatex
those.
as needed. We do love those. I use them as needed, especially for a weekend if we have races. So for our outdoor meets, I think it's a 3-day meet, and then I think I'll compete on a Monday and then a Wednesday. So heavily, I'll use those, especially at North Greenville. We only had 2-day meets for our championship, so I had to be recovering at a very quick rate. So one of the best ways we could do that was through a Normatec. Massages, I get scraped out by our trainer, Joel. He's the best in the game. He'll scrape me out the night before a race. He'll
Kind
get,
of like like Graston or like soft tissue scraping.
yeah, just soft tissue scraping. He has a little metal bar. I had a
Yep.
lady in North Greenville. Surprisingly, she went to I think it was the Summer Olympics in 2020 in Tokyo for what was it? It wasn't karate, but it was like jujitsu or something like that. So she was really high class. She can massage you so good that you want to cry. Like that's how good she was. And like she gets some real tough spots, some really good tissue. But I would definitely try to do a lot of massages, like probably once a week, or especially before a race. I want my legs to feel as best as he can. And Joel will
Yeah.
just do a little metal scrape bar. I don't know the proper word for it, but that's essentially what he does. He'll scrape up my
Yep.
calves and thighs.
Yep. I love that. Yeah, we have all those things here. We love all those toys.
Exactly.
Let me ask you this. For runners and athletes that are dealing with nagging injuries and who are afraid to hit their ceiling or worse, what would you tell them about investing in proper recovery and spinal care? Like, what would your advice be to somebody that wants to get to the next level, but maybe just isn't sure quite, how to deal with that day-to-day stress like you deal with?
Well, for one thing, I think regardless, you should always take care of your body and just even doing the little things. That's where our coaches really preach is doing the little things right. So maybe let's say you're done with the run if you're a casual athlete or whatever. You just don't feel like stretching or just like you just put it off another time, it's fine. And I do the same thing too. I don't do it every day as I should. But over time, if you can continue to let that, push it off, you just I don't want to stretch, I don't feel like it, there's no point. Eventually those injuries are going to kind of come to worse and they might be worse rather than if you could have prevented them sooner. And even for me too, like some days, like I said, I'll just forget to stretch. I won't do it. I'm like, well, I don't feel like doing it today. But then later on, I might regret it saying, oh, I should have stretched sooner because my legs are worse. So I think, even doing the little things, if you're an avid athlete, trying to do everything you can for proper maintenance of your body, just ensuring that, like you said, doing everything you can to ensure that your body's at the top of your game. And even that requires spending a little bit of money. Of course, everybody's financial situations are different. I think definitely, like I said, definitely spend the money if that is,
It's worth the investment.
yeah, huh?
It's worth the investment.
Yeah, exactly. It is worth the investment. And like for me, like I said, I thought I wasn't gonna be able to run again. And even with going to the same chiropractors, I thought I was finding the answers, but I wasn't until I found the right one that was working for me. So even don't just go to one and just say, oh, it's done for me. Try to go, hop around and try to find the best person that might suit you. Of course, I would think it's Dr. Gormley for me.
I
But for some people,
appreciate
it
that.
might be different, obviously. So, but if it's for your health and for your benefit, and it's better to just spend the money and try to do all the proper maintenance to have a good, healthy life than just, save the money, just put off with it and just live a miserable life, just full of pain and just being like, oh, I don't feel like it, but yet again, I'm in pain. So that's what I would think too.
Well, I was really happy that we were able to even connect you with somebody, a good friend of mine actually, down by you so that you can continue this care when you need it. Big shout out
Absolutely.
to Dr. Mike McIntyre.
Both of my scaring me.
Oh man, we were each other's doctors in school. I'll see him in a couple of weeks. He's a great guy. You couldn't be in better hands, unless you were in my hands, that's what I'd like
Yeah,
to say. But
exactly. It's both Mike's hands.
that's right. Mike squared. Having that kind of team, and you said that, you went from North Greenville University, awesome school, by the way. My daughters went there, but going to Charleston Southern, bigger school, bigger program, bigger stuff, more equipment, more professionals. How has having that kind of like team, that professional team around you that really understands elite athletes, how does that change the way that you train and compete? And how does it change the way you think about like longevity in your sport?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And all credit to North Greenville. I mean, with the resources they had, of course, Charleston Southern has a little bit more financial spendings to be able to buy more stuff. So like I said, the contrast
Sure.
bath, and they have more of the resources to be able to do it. So all credit to North Greenville for, keeping me strong, keeping me healthy during my time there, despite not that having the resources, but having that at Charleston Southern is definitely an advantage. Being able to maximize your recovery, being able to maximize, the athletic um capabilities, if you will, especially at Charleston Southern. The reason I chose Charleston Southern, not only because of the Christian values they hold, but their winning program in terms of distance. They've won the conference title, including the 2 years I've been here, or a year and a half. I'll be 2 years, graduating this coming May. But they've won the conference title 7 times in total. They won it years in a row since 2020, since the COVID
Wow.
time. So they're a very high pedigree program. They're one of the best programs in the Southeast. We are competing against people like Duke. We're competing against people like Louisville. We beat Clemson. We've beaten all these other big name schools, and we're just a tiny little school, about 3,000 people, and a strong army of like 30 distance guys. So naturally, guys are attracted to the winning pedigree and the resources that we have to be able to maximize our winning. Like I said, Joel, our trainer, he's one of the best in the game. He knows how to diagnose the best injuries. He's able to get me back to a full recovery with my sciatica after you had worked with me. And of course, with Dr. Mike down there too, that was also a big plus too, very big help. But yeah, I think people are just naturally attracted to that. And just the more you keep winning, the more you have, like you said, the natural resources to be able to fuel that winning. I think naturally it's just the perfect storm that I think people want to join into. So, and of course, it's helped me win. It's helped me become a stronger person and athlete from North Greenville, even going through Charleston Southern as
Sure.
to win more titles, win more races. So, job's not finished, I would say. But
That's right. He's not. He's not. He's got a lot of more plans for you. Yeah, so I'm always, preaching to gosh, anybody that'll listen to me, but especially youth sports, like from high school on. I feel like if more people in high school started a recovery process, whether, with some chiropractic or just home care stuff like conversion bats in your shower, cold to hot, things like that. Stretching, other things like Normatec leg sleeves and red light and all that. If they started earlier on in high school, those kids might maybe get a scholarship or move on to collegiate level like you. And when you're at your level, keeping and maintaining and being surrounded by all these professionals, that's what kind of propels the athletes to get into a professional level. I mean, that's when you're going out, and in your case, maybe we're looking at the Olympics in a couple of years, that sort of thing. So I think it starts. A good tip I would give, and I would ask your opinion on it, but would be as young as possible, families and athletes should start doing some type of recovery care, so they can go longer, they can go farther, and they can make it in their sport as long as they'd like to.
absolutely. And I think that
Yeah.
I could definitely preach to that because, like I said, I found success recently, and I've been doing cross country track running for about 10 years now. Long story short, I didn't realize I'd be kind of good at the sport until I got later on to my senior year of high school when I started, thinking about running in college. But some part of me kind of looks back and was wondering, like, well, what if I took it more seriously back in my seventh, eighth grade, ninth grade year? Which, of course, naturally, you're younger. You're not really thinking about the implications of where you're going to be in 10 years, saying that in the seventh grade, saying, "Oh, I'll be a conference champion in 10 years. I'll be fine. I'll figure it out later." But I think that is good on the parents too to kind of encourage that, just really pushing their kids in a healthy way, saying like, "Hey, like if you want to be at the best of your game, if you want to be really good in the future, and you see that talent in them, definitely encourage those just those habits of just being able to recover and become a stronger athlete, especially in younger age. Because like you said, you don't know where you might be in the future. You
That's
might
right.
be able to be at the collegiate level or even professional level, hopefully Olympic level. I hope that would be the promise for me too, but we'll have to see in about
Right.
2 more years. Actually, it's crazy. But yeah, I would definitely encourage that because who knows where you might be.
That's right.
I bet much better of an athlete you might be when you start younger. So, like you had said,
Absolutely.
I definitely
And
agree
there's
with.
resources all around us, we may not know about them as often, but There's lots of places like we have the Normatex and we have Red Light and we have sauna and we have, obviously chiropractic care, but there's not just us. There's lots of places around here that does conversion baths and, all those therapy things. And they're relatively cheap and inexpensive, but there's also a whole host of things that we can do on our own. You get creative, and just even, even like you were talking about the importance of stretching, which I would agree with. Very important to stretch, and to prevent injury. Just even doing that, just going through your paces, making sure mentally you see the task ahead of you, you see what you got to do for it, and then, get to doing it
Yeah, exactly.
somewhere in a safe way.
I'm just thankful again that I had the opportunity to be able to talk about it and just talk a little bit about what I've gone through and how it can help other people succeed too in the future.
Absolutely. There's lots of other Hayden Goods out there that are going to see this and they're going to say, "Hey, I can do this too, man."
Hopefully
So
so.
you're going to inspire a lot of people. You've already done good things. You're going to do greater things. By His glory, you'll win, and you're going to pull people with you, which I love.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, I know it's a uh, college is always a mentally trying time, so we'll let you get back to your homework and doing all those fun things that you're doing.
I
But I
appreciate
appreciate you coming on, man. I appreciate you sharing with us your story. And, whenever you're back home, I love to see you.
absolutely, man. It's good to see you soon.
Yeah. All right. Well, you have a good rest of your night. And hey, as soon as this podcast comes out and posts up, we'll share it with you so you can pump it around too. But we'll be singing your praises from the rooftops.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem. Have a great night, Hayden.
You too, sir. Thank you.
All right. All right now. Bye bye.